YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. So the 49ers have a lot of difficult decisions to make this offseason, concerning personnel and whatnot. And obviously, the Brock Purdy contract negotiation is expected to kind of dominate the headlines. And, from a defensive perspective, though, there's arguably no bigger issue than the future of 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw. So obviously he's expected, or he will be a free agent at the start of the new league year next month. He's coming off of a 2024 season in which he played, a total of like 34 snaps. He recovered majority of last season from the torn Achilles that he suffered in the Super Bowl last February. He officially played in 2 games after making his return against the Rams in December, but was unable to complete 3 quarters, in that matchup. And, the subsequent week's game with the Miami Dolphins as well. Wasn't able to complete the full game. And it sucked because obviously the 49ers clearly missed having Dre Greenlaw out on the field. They made Devondre Campbell his replacement, and Devondre Campbell quit on the team, and wasn't nearly the type of player Dre Greenlaw was. The Devondre Campbell signing arguably was the worst 49ers free agent signing all offseason last year. In the grand scheme of things, it looked like a pretty good signing when it happened. And, I think the 49ers felt pretty comfortable about him potentially being Greenlaw's replacement for the year. But Devondre Campbell was horrible last season. There wasn't a single game where I thought Devondre Campbell played well or had a good game. Number one, he's old. You can clearly tell that his time in the NFL is practically over, especially after his... Not going to say that, but after he quit on the 49ers. It's one of those things that I think killed the 49ers, morale, right? Like, they were in a must-win game versus the Rams in December. It was the third quarter. They still had a good chance to win that football game, and Devondre Campbell, instead of potentially becoming a hero and helping the 49ers win that game, and potentially get into the playoffs or keep their playoff hopes alive, he quits on the team. And then obviously, the 49ers ended up, he was away from the team, and they eventually ended up pretty much cutting him and cutting ties with him. So that was one situation, right? But, the 49ers really missed having Dre Greenlaw out on the field and playing with this defense. And I think the biggest thing with his contract this upcoming offseason is his struggles coming off of the injury could be seen as something that, could tempt the 49ers to kind of let him walk in free agency. However, Robert Saleh is back for a second stint with the 49ers as defensive coordinator, and he's got other ideas towards this potential situation with the 49ers letting Dre Greenlaw walk. So Nick Bosa spoke with NBC Sports Bay Area's Jennifer Lee Chan at the Pro Bowl games. And Nick Bosa revealed that Robert Saleh is very keen on making sure that Dre Greenlaw remains with the 49ers and is on this roster. He quote-unquote said he's going to do what's best for him, and he should do that at this point in his career, but obviously we want him back, and I know that Robert Saleh is very adamant about that. So obviously, the eager for Robert Saleh's, desire to have Greenlaw back with the 49ers is no surprise. Number one, I'll never forget the 2019 game versus the Seattle Seahawks on that Thursday night, I believe it was, where they're in Seattle and Greenlaw makes a stop on the 1-yard line for the 49ers to win the division in Seattle. It was one of the craziest endings to a game ever. I'll never forget Dre Greenlaw and his performance during that game. Um, I mean, Dre Greenlaw was a hero for the Niners during that year, and really helped the Niners get to the Super Bowl. But that play, every time I think of Dre Greenlaw, I think about the play in Seattle that he had in that massive divisional game where the 49ers needed to win. The game, there were missed field goals that costed the 49ers from potentially winning that game early on. But Greenlaw stopping the Seahawks from scoring on that tight end route. I can't remember who the tight end was on Seattle at the time. But, yeah, man, like his impact during that game and, what he did to help the 49ers win that game is just something that you never forget. But either way, I mean, obviously, the Niners have spoken openly about, how Dre Greenlaw's injury turned the tide in their Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs. Him going down in the manner that he did and how it happened with him literally just jogging out onto the field. Greenlaw could have been, had Greenlaw stayed in that game, it always will make me wonder which way that game would have went. I mean, he completely had Travis Kelce shut down, and as soon as he got hurt, Flanagan fouls came in, and it just the Chiefs immediately went to Travis Kelce. They immediately picked apart Greenlaw's replacement in the Super Bowl, and the rest is history. So it always makes me wonder what could have been or what could have happened had Greenlaw not got hurt in the Super Bowl. But either way, in the Super Bowl, like Greenlaw was clearly the best player on the field for the 2 quarters that he was in the game. And, obviously everybody's kind of eager to get Greenlaw back and to get him back healthy and for him to play alongside of Fred Warner. But Warner, was asked about if he's been campaigning for Dre Greenlaw to re-sign with the team, and he said, that's been my goal. I'll let the team handle that, and hopefully we can keep him. So everybody wants Greenlaw back with the 49ers, but obviously I think the biggest thing to note here is that Robert Saleh is adamant about keeping Dre Greenlaw. We know that he wants to change this defense, make it faster, make it more exotic. If you want to do that and you want to change this defense to a more faster, exotic type of defense, you have to keep Greenlaw. Greenlaw plays fast. He plays from sideline to sideline. He's very good in coverage. He is without a doubt, aside from Brock Purdy, which I'm not necessarily too worried about Brock Purdy, re-signing here, but he is without a doubt the 49ers biggest, must-have re-sign this upcoming offseason. You have to keep Dre Greenlaw. He makes this defense better. When he's on the field with Fred Warner, there's not a single linebacker group in the entire NFL that is more explosive and more feared than Greenlaw and Fred Warner are. So again, like, to me, it's no surprise that Saleh is pretty adamant on keeping Greenlaw. Again, this is a player that the 49ers have to keep. He makes the defense better. And, obviously, Greenlaw is projected to potentially sign like a 1-year prove-it deal. The 49ers' projected offer to Dre Greenlaw is actually 1 year, $6 million. So the Niners may even be able to get him on a discount this offseason, just considering his injury that he suffered in the Super Bowl and whatnot. So obviously, the 49ers, no matter if you can get him on a 1-year prove-it deal or not, you have to keep him. So obviously, there is a risk in potentially signing Greenlaw to a long-term contract, but dude, when he came back, his first game back against the Rams on Thursday night in December, he looked even more explosive than he was before the injury. So it's just about keeping him on the field and making sure that he stays healthy. But again, man, I don't think the 49ers are going to let Dre Greenlaw go in free agency. It just doesn't make sense. He's a key piece to this defense. Either way, though, I'll be interested to see what the contract structure is on Dre Greenlaw's deal with the 49ers when that gets done. But again, I mean, there is a chance that he could be gone. However, I think just knowing this 49ers team, knowing what kind of players that they value and things like that, and with obviously Saleh coming back, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that Greenlaw is going to be back. It's just a matter of what the contract will be, and how long that that we have to wait until a contract gets done. So we will see what happens, of course, but obviously this is going to be a situation to monitor, just like many others in the off season. I'll continue to keep you guys updated. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this in the comments down below. Robert Saleh very adamant on keeping Dre Greenlaw with the 49ers. As always, go Niners. I'll see you guys in the next one.